We've talked about the potential return to normality that we've had, at least in terms of, as you say, the fundamentals of business now matter again.
Yeah.
Valuations have come down to earth. Do you believe now that we are in a new economy? Or are we back to something that looked a lot like the old economy with the internet involved?
You know, we have this internet thing, which really is a tool. Let's stop looking at it as a whole separate animal. Never was in the first place. It's a tool that can help an awful lot of companies reach a lot of customers more effectively, meaning with a sort of more targeted message, and more efficiently, meaning less expensively than ever before. And that can be just a huge boon to P&G and Ford and to a bunch of old economy companies. So are we a new economy and an old economy, or are we an economy that can make itself run a little better because it has this new tool, and those who embrace it will ultimately within the next couple of years, I suspect, be miles ahead in terms of profitability and therefore the value of their stock price, hopefully, than those who are breathing a huge sigh of relief right now and saying, oh, this internet thing turned out to be a bubble, I can just go back to running my business the way I used to. You know, in many ways it is like the telephone. You know, those who adopt it, those who embrace this thing and struggle at the moment, and probably for a while, with learning how to change their businesses, should ultimately turn out to be big winners. And again, those who ignore will likely be in some degree of difficulty.
But also, to your point, those who embrace the telephone didn't all become telemarketers or cell phone manufacturers.
Absolutely.
They fully integrated the implications of the telephony networks into their business.
Yeah, you know, there's a really smart fellow named Paul Saffo who works for the Institute for the Future, and he has a great line, which is just so right and so applicable to what's going on right now. We always overestimate what we can accomplish with a new technology in 2 years, and we way underestimate the impact over 10 years. And that's what we've seen. We way overestimated how quickly all these changes would happen. So now we're dumping all the stocks and, you know, wondering whether it was just a bubble or it was real. But over the next 10 years, the internet will make huge, profound changes, will inspire huge and profound changes to all kinds of businesses that hopefully will keep, you know, the basic core industries as well as some of the new businesses running much more effectively than ever before.
So arguably a bubble followed by a boom.
So arguably a bubble followed by a boom, but let's think of the boom as kind of a gradual one of these, not this, because nothing ever works out quite that smoothly.
Does that disappoint you at all in terms of being a VC? That is, that the low-hanging fruit was 3 years ago, and today it's going to go back to being hard work and perspiration as opposed to just simple inspiration that gets the big paybacks?
You know, I think that's actually what made it more compelling for me to go become a VC right now, because the last couple of years, it wasn't that hard, right? Basically, what's the old cliche, shooting fish in a barrel? Pretty much anything you invested in, you could turn in 6, 8, 12, 18 months and do just fine. Now it's going back to having to pick out the winners and the losers and actually, you know, put in the sweat equity to help build them. So the analogy that I keep making in my old New England snobbish way is, if you learn to ski in the East, you learn to ski on ice and rocks and all that kind of stuff. And when you get out west, you're all over those hills. But if you learn to ski in the West, where the conditions are generally better, and you get to the East, odds are pretty good you're going to fall on your face more than you would back home. So it's the same sort of thing. Let me learn, let me get into this business in a really difficult environment. And then if we have another boom, terrific. But that's not the challenge. The challenge is, how do you pick out the companies and how do you provide the right value as a VC? How do you get involved enough without being overly involved to actually build them into companies? And that's what makes now such an interesting time.
What is it in the current context that worries you enough to keep you up at night?
Oh gosh, a ton of things. For one, again, I'm used to looking at companies much further down the road. And so now I ask myself the question that you actually asked me earlier, which is, how do you know you're judging them on the right points? You know, what if you find just really smart people on a slideshow? Is that enough? Can you build them into a company? So I worry that I'm going to be almost too judgmental or too demanding of the little companies I'm seeing, because I've spent so much time looking at companies that were older.
Liz, as you look at it, all this activity, all this innovation that you review every day as part of your new job, what is the next big thing?
Gosh, I'm not sure that there is the next big thing. I do think that there's just huge opportunity in the entertainment space, because we don't like the way we got it. We're gonna get our entertainment a different way. I'm also going to argue that it is consumer in a big sense. It's consumer services. It's how do I, the consumer, now that I have the internet, now that I am, to use the passé word, empowered, and able to get more information about more products and be able to vote to companies, Don't you tell me how you're going to sell it to me. Let me tell you how I want it demanded. There's going to be big opportunities there. But, you know, what are we all talking about? Everybody's talking about wireless stuff. Well, yeah, look at Japan, right? All of a sudden there are like, 12 million teenage girls who are carrying around the NTT Docomo phone and, looking at Hello Kitty and sending each other email. But surely the use of portable devices to get information more efficiently will be a huge next big thing. But that's way too broad an answer to be of any use.
But like a good VC, you've hedged your bets.
Well, yes, hopefully.
Lise Buyer, thank you very much for speaking with us.
Well, thank you very much. It's been great to be here again.
A quick update, though the technology sector has been pummeled in the U.S. financial markets, venture capitalists continue to pour money into new enterprises. In Canada, demand for venture capital is soaring. And in the U.S., despite a small downturn, venture capital investments remain at near historic levels.